I'm Joe Alden, MD, also known as Dr. Bones, the disaster doctor of doomandbloom.net, where you'll find over 400 articles on medical preparedness for times of trouble. If you've been watching any of those prepper programs on TV, you probably wonder if preppers are actually normal people. Well, if you watch our videos and you see me with this bird here, and of course this guy here who is either dressed up as the Grim Reaper or somebody that's a professional poker player maybe, you really wonder what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about the question, which is very simple. Are preppers normal? Let's say a man with a microphone comes up to you. He says, "Excuse me, sir or madam, may I ask you a question? Are you normal?" It seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? Who'd think that they are not normal? You'd probably give him a strange look and walk on. The truth is that the answer is just not as simple as it seems. So let's talk a little bit about normal people. The word normal has several definitions, but we'll focus on two. One, standard, average, or conforming to the group, and two, sane. Normal people have certain characteristics that would match the above. You'd agree, I'm sure, that normal folks need a level of organization in their life. They don't want a lot of clutter, so they make sure they don't keep more than maybe 3 days' supply of food in the pantry. They wait until the gas tank is nearly empty to refill it, and they have no medical supplies other than a few Band-Aids and some aspirin in the medicine cabinet. Now, whenever there's a crisis, whether it's national, regional, like a hurricane or a tornado, or personal, like losing a job, normal people see before them just a bump on the road. When they stumble, they pick themselves up, they brush the dirt off, and they continue on their merry way as if nothing had happened. Normal folk don't feel that there are lessons to be learned by current events. A major storm is just a news story, or maybe a chance to play some board games with the kids. This is because they're confident that others will resolve all their problems. They pay taxes, so they believe the government will step in and give them a helping hand whenever they need it. The help could be in the form of food stamps in hard financial times, in a swift emergency response, in a natural calamity, or an efficient and effective intervention in areas of civil unrest. Most people believe wholeheartedly that help will always be on the way, even if they have personally experienced a disastrous situation. Various surveys prove this is the normal thinking of most people in civilized areas. Given the definition of normal, this attitude certainly is standard and conforms to the group, but is it sane? Let's take the case of essential personnel for any municipality. This would include police officers, firefighters, emergency medical techs, etc. These are the emergency responders that normal folks expect to get them out of a crisis. But what would really happen in a true disaster? In surveys performed in several cities, police precincts, fire stations, things like that, many public servants we depend on have indicated they would not report in the case of a truly serious catastrophe. The same goes for various other essential personnel, such as doctors, nurses, and paramedics. Unthinkable? Well, maybe to some, but the professionals we count on to rescue us in times of trouble also are wives, husbands, parents, children. Who do you think they'll rush to protect in a horrendous emergency, you or their own families? This is just a simple fact of life. It's not a criticism of the brave men and women who keep us safe in normal times. To expect them to do their duty and at the same time abandon their own loved ones might be standard and normal thinking, but boy, it certainly isn't sane. So how do normal people become sane people? By realizing that society can be fragile. There are events that may occur to send things into disarray. Once things happen to knock us off kilter, a downward spiral is going to make life difficult. Now, what type of events could cause such a collapse to happen? Various scenarios that could lead to time of trouble include flu pandemics, terrorist attacks, solar flares, economic collapse, just some of the things that could befall a community, a region, or even a country, even the world. The likelihood of any one of these life-changing occurrences may be small, I'll give you that. But what is the chance that none of these events will occur over the course of your lifetime, your children's lifetimes? The road to self-reliance is a long and winding run. It's got to take some of your time, some of your energy to become self-sufficient. It'll take some of your money as well to accumulate things that will be useful in obtaining a head start to success in dark times. Benjamin Franklin once said, "When the well is dry, we learn the worth of water." The same can be said of many aspects of modern technology. If you're thrown in a situation where there is no electric power, how many items in your house are going to be useless? Quite a few, I suspect. But you don't have to be MacGyver to improvise. An old sheet would make fine bandages in times of trouble. If you prepare for difficult times and maintain a positive attitude, you'll be an example for others in your family and community. If they see that preparing for disasters just makes good old common sense, they might start to prepare as well. Imagine an entire community, nation, or even the world ready to deal with life's untoward events. In that circumstance, conforming to the group would actually be sane, and we would live in a truly normal world. This is Joe Halton, MD, also known as Dr. Bones, wishing you the best of health in good times or bad.